Do you feel like your skills and your abilities are underutilized? Do you feel like you ought to be doing more? Perhaps you feel like you're very transactional in terms of what you would do, and you want to break out, you want to move into a leadership position, or move into more of a decision-making capacity, more of a strategic, you want to deliver more of a strategic impact in your organization. If that's where you are today, then this channel's for you, and so please subscribe, and I hope you find this video enjoyable and get great value from it. My name's Rob Evans. In 30 plus years of running businesses, developing teams, leading turnarounds, and assessing businesses for acquisition, I've seen many individuals, worked with many individuals, and I've seen many individuals in many ways underutilized. It's one of the big frustrations of mine, is to see individuals, in their careers not really realize the potential that they undoubtedly have. And I think in many organizations, there's typically bridge builders that exist in an organization that are tremendous value, great relationship builders, folks that can fix problems, folks that really know the business that they work in inside out, and often they're under-recognized. And if you fall into that category, then I'd really like to help you, find ways to help you progress in your role. Whenever we're setting out to move from where we are today to where we'd like to be, it requires a couple of things. First of all, it requires us to have an absolute clear, open, honest assessment and idea of where we are today. Secondly, it ideally requires us to have a clear idea of where we want to get to. But often we don't always have a clear idea of where we want to get to, but in the longer term, but clearly we want to move forward in some way. So as a minimum, we want to have our sights on something that is challenging us, that's pushing us in a new direction, that's teaching us a new skill. And when we set our sights on doing something even just a little bit different, even if we're not convinced we want to be doing this forever in our career, then that creates the template in many ways for us to be able to say, okay, this is where we are today, this is where we'd like to be in this defined period of time. Now, how do we start identifying, and how do we start moving, identifying the steps, moving from where we are today to where we want to be? So I think a good process for us to adopt is what I call a strategic reflection framework. And to help you with the process, I've developed a strategic reflection workbook, which you can download via the link in the description. So it's a resource, and I hope you find it very useful. But I think the more that we can get ourselves into a routine of standing back and reflecting on where we are today as an individual, and identifying what our next moves are, both in our role but also in our personal development, and then physically taking the steps, and then making sure that we capture and we carefully look at the outcomes of the steps that we've taken. Not only the logical, the what actually happened, what the numerics of what happened were, but also how others reacted and how others described what we did, felt about what we did, how others described our performance. The more that we can start to really think about, we take these steps and we capture, and we're very clear about capturing the outcomes, the more we can get into a frame of mind that's an experimental frame of mind. And I think the more that we experiment, the likelier we are to be able to find a great solution for us. And I think what we have to remember is, in our careers, we're all pioneers. Nobody's done actually what we're doing with this set of colleagues at this particular point in time, with these particular sets of challenges, with this resource set, with these resource constraints before. So we have to find a way that works for us. There's no one way that works for everybody in every situation. So we've got to find our way to our situation. So I think this mindset of a regular reflection, the better we reflect, the better we perform, can be helpful. And I think as part of that, the more that we can expose ourselves to different ideas and thought provocation, the more helpful potentially we're going to find it. So what I do is every week I pose what I call a Friday's question. The whole idea is to share an idea, but also to provoke thought. And I hope that if we do this enough times, we're going to find one or two big leaps forward with modest investment, because that's really what we're always trying to do. We're always trying to move forward without taking huge risks. We're trying to deliver a good return with a sensible, measured investment in time, in energy, maybe financially, whatever it may be. So that's the focus. So I'm going to put up a video now, which is Friday's question, which is posed every week for reflection. Hope you enjoy it and find it thought-provoking. And please check it out, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to check out the strategic reflection workbook that I mentioned earlier. I'll run the video now.
If we think about our organisation's corporate planning, typically it comes in three parts. It's what are we seeking to achieve as an organisation, how are we seeking to achieve it, and why are we seeking to achieve it. And of course, the strategy is a key part of the logic of how. And of course, also, when we think about the how of what we're setting out to achieve, there's also an emotional and a people dimension, a cultural dimension. But strategy is usually reserved for steps and processes and themes that we associate in our organisation. How effectively do we support business strategy?
I hope you enjoyed that and got value from it. I hope you find it thought-provoking. If so, please do give the video a like, please do subscribe, and don't forget to download your workbook, and I look forward to seeing the next video.